Happy birthday, Jaina. I hope you get plenty. Happy birthday, Jaina. I hope you get plenty.
All right. Can everybody hear me on the stream, at least? He's an animal. Okay. The tea breaks. Why does that keep on going off? Oh, fuck it. I'm not. Okay. So. Alright, so got a couple of things here. So, this is going to be all encompassing as much as possible, okay? And it's going to go over the basic stuff. It's going to go through Hyjal. We'll start with Hyjal first. That's what we're doing Thursday. So basic strats. So first boss is going to be Rage Winter Chill. When you first go in the instance, this you're gonna see this is the top-down view. Okay. Trash comes from here. Jaina is chilling over, like, down here somewhere. She's way the fuck down here. She should. She doesn't really matter. Sure, we can make her the green triangle, okay? Yes, I'm on my Twitch. Go to my Twitch. Guild chat. There you go. If only. Trying to get a team up with her, man. Come on. There's no delay. Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know why that keeps on going off. I don't know why. Okay. Hey, enjoying the stream? I don't know why it keeps on fucking going off. Timers. There. There, I took it off. It should be fine. Okay, so these are the waves right here. Okay, it's there's 8 waves per each boss. If you die on a wave or wipe, then you have to restart from the beginning. There is no, oh, you get to continue progress, nothing like that. So it is extremely important you do not wipe on trash or the boss. Important. Yeah, so what you do is you have to wait till the tanks get the aggro. Once they get the aggro, then you can go ahead and as soon as it calls for the AoE, then you AoE. It's pretty much just cleave and AoE everything down. The most important ones, at least on the first waves, to go ahead and watch out for, are the abominations. Big green guys, big green A-bombs. They have a nature AoE that's close range, and the necromancers. They sit back and they shadow bolt, and they can do a lot of damage. Good thing is that they can also be mind controlled and give a massive buff to melee. So Veiled will probably have you go ahead and mind control 1, buff groups as much as you can, and it only lasts, I think, 30 seconds or a minute, but it's a big buff. And then you kill it. Yeah, just mute one of the streams. Yeah, just mute my Twitch, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know why the fucking Streamlabs shit's fucking going off. It's pissed me off, though. It is for nerds. It is for nerds. It is. So also they're not on a timer. They're on a timer in between waves, but it's a situation where you kill one wave, then the next wave starts. Okay, but you can't hold it and hold 1 to go ahead and wait for the next wave. Once that wave is dead, then the next wave immediately spawns. And the spawn time, the time it takes to get to you is however long it takes. It takes about a minute between each wave to reach where we're going to be killing them at. So this is the basic overview. I mean, it's kind of a crappy crappy view of it, but this is the basic overview. This is where is this one? Okay, so this is it right here. So they come from that over the hill right there, and then you just group them all up around this corner right there. Yeah, you just group them up right there. You go ahead and just take them around the corner, group them up right there, you AoE them down. That's it. With the Necromancers, Contaminant's pretty much going to be tanking them all. Pally-Tank just tanks them all. The Necromancers, yeah, Grip off-tanks. Me and Grip will go ahead and pick up, get what they can. Veiled will go ahead and MC1. We may have Angela or Malfunction go ahead and MC another one. Do whatever it is. And then go from there. It's a buff. I get the buff later on. I'll go ahead and find out exactly what it is. I think it's a haste buff. I think it's like 100% haste. What was that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, your baby's got it. Assert dominance. Wow. Um, so that's the basically every single wave goes ahead and does that. Then we go along. You'll go ahead and see the A bombs come up here. Oh, that's the first boss. Second boss. So that's the A bombs right there. Big nasty A bombs. They do an AOE stun that hits for 4K. So faps. Melee. If you got faps, use them. I don't think it's an AOE stun. I think it's a direct stun on the tank itself. But obviously, if the tank's stunned, it's gonna go to the next person. So fap. But you go ahead and just clean them all out as much as you possibly can. First boss coming up. So this is Rage Winter Chill. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so I'll go through. Yeah, I went a Scuffed Shadow. I didn't even have shit set up. Yes, very much so. Oh, 100%. Oh, I was in mostly healing gear. Yes. The Shadow Bolts are kickable, but it's not really worth it because you go ahead and just tank it anyway. Um, they die. They don't have a lot of health. They don't have a lot of. Uh, they're casting. It's not really a big deal to go ahead and worry about kicking them. Just AoE them down. It's about 30 seconds. Between waves, it's about 30 seconds. Yeah, as soon as the wave dies, immediately drink. Yeah, so Contaminant will be up on top of the hill. On the other side, he'll consecrate down, run back, consecrate around the corner. Hunters just go ahead and MD multi-shot, and then move on. Go around the corner, hide around the corner, chill out there. Simple as that. No, but it buffs the entire group. It buffs the entire group. No, it buffs the entire melee group that you have. So it is definitely worth it. Yeah. See, here comes the next wave. So the ghouls are just nothing really. It's the A-bombs that are really a pain in the ass that you gotta really watch out for. So here's the buff. Let me pause it on it. Increases attack speed 100% for 20 seconds. So it's a haste pot. It's good. And it's attack speed 100%. Yeah, increases allies' attack speed by 100% for 20 seconds. Also inflicts 500 nature damage to each ally, though. To that ally for, yeah. So it will do damage to you, but it's, not that much. It's easily healable, and the buff is big. So you get the buff, you move on. Simple as that. And dead. See, so the next wave will come. It will start coming as soon as this one dies. So as soon as the last one dies, that's when the next wave comes. You do, yes. You don't get put in combat until the waves are actually there and you're attacking them. So there's Jaina. Jaina actually has a aura buff around her as well. So here comes Rage Winterchill coming up and over the mountain. And you just tank him basically in the middle. If you go ahead and look, I'll put it here. Yeah. You tank her, or you tank him. Yeah. Basically tank him right here. That gives everybody enough places to go ahead and spread out. You go ahead and just spread everybody out throughout the thing, and the reason is because Rage Winterchill has a couple of really bad things that Rage can actually do. Death and Decay is one of them, which is an AoE, like on the ground AoE, and you'll see it. I'll go ahead and bring up all the abilities right here. Yeah, it does a ton of damage, and it's centered around one person, and it's a massive area of effect. Correct. The other thing that Rage does is an Ice Bolt, like KT's Ice Bolt in Naxxramas, and it'll stun you, and if you're encased in it, you'll take a lot of frost damage, and you will die if you, one, don't get heal, or two, don't dispel yourself. You can dispel yourself with a PvP trinket, you can bubble out of it, you can ice block out of it. Anything that'll get you out of a stun will go ahead and get you out of that. But if you don't get removed from it, you will die. So it's important that you go ahead and make sure that you get out of that ice block itself. It cannot be dispelled either. It can only be remove the stun, because it counts as a physical stun. Works best in slot race. So that's the big thing for the that's why everybody says, oh, bring your PvP trinket, PvP trinket, and that's the reason, is because of that Ice Bolt. The Frost Nova does a lot of damage within 45 yards. You cannot outrange it because you have to be in range to go ahead and deal damage and heal. And it's just a standard Frost Nova, just like a mage's. Simple as that. Rage Winterchill, not a big deal. I mean, you're not going to be moving around. I mean, if Death and Decay is on you and you get it on you, but it's not a big deal. And then obviously Berserk, but it doesn't really matter. He'll be dead in about 2 minutes. So we start this. Just bring him all the way down. And you'll see the Ice Bolt here in a second. I don't think I get the Ice Bolt, but you'll see it. You'll also notice that healers and or ranged can go ahead and get the buff from Jaina. You don't really want to encourage Jaina in this fight because the Death and Decay, if it's centered around here, she won't move out of it, obviously, and she'll die. So that's why you tank her there and you don't engage Jaina on this fight. So I run back here to go ahead and get the buff, and it's like 100% spirit, I believe it is. It's right there. Top right corner. Yeah, it looks like a totem. Yes. Yeah, it'll happen right now. Yep. So yeah, if you see the red bubbles, it is very hard to see. So if you don't have spell effects up or anything like that, you will barely see it, but you will take a ton of damage from it. So it's important that you, as soon as it pops out, you have GTFO or your whatever boss mods or anything like that. It's up. You'll go ahead and see it, run out of it. Simple as that. And it lasts for a little while, so you don't want to be in it while that's going on. I think it's 45 seconds. It'll happen a few times. See, so there's the ice bolt right there. You see right with Skull on Day Moon. Okay. So I'll just scoot back here just real quick for a second. You'll see him take a ton of damage. Bottom left corner of the screen, right underneath the spellbook. You'll see it. He'll get the ice bolt. He went down. It took about 6k life for the initial hit. That's not the dot once he's under it. So he took a ton of damage from it. You see the damage he was taking? So it's really, really important you dispel it off yourself if you can. If you have the PvP trinket or healers, you heal that person as soon as possible, okay? It only happens to one person at a time. Yep. Yeah, so it's really important that you go ahead and if you have the PvP trinket, bring it with you. Very, very important. There it is. Yeah, you can get it twice in a row. Well, either way, healers just need to be on top of the ball. Rage doesn't do a ton of damage to the tank. Like, person tanking his TSW, his health is relatively static. It doesn't move that much. He's getting heals, but it's not that big a deal. We'll have people assigned specifically for the ice bolts. So it's really, really simple. No, it does not. So it's just boom, ice bolt, heal, done. Okay? Then after that happens, I actually got ice bolted, so you'll be able to see it in a better light here. There goes one ice bolt out, that person there. I told you I didn't have shit set up. It is hard to see. So that took me down about 5k. So if... No, he's not using a Frostrise Cloak. No. It's not. It's not a Frostrise Cloak. Everybody was in Tier 2 Bis. Or Phase 2 Bis. Phase 2 Bis. So after that happens, you go ahead and have time to break because the next encounter doesn't engage until you talk to Jaina again. So that's what triggers the next round of waves. The next waves then start once you talk to Jaina, and then it's the same thing. It's just rinse and repeat. Another 8 waves. This time they're a little bit different. These things, they start doing Banshees. Banshees are just fucking pain in the ass. They're not a big deal. It's pretty much every mob that you fight in Strat is what is here. That's it. It's the same exact reskinned, redone stuff from Stratham. From Undead Strat. But everything dies relatively quick. The waves are just a gate to the boss. That's it. So that's first boss. Okay, then more waves, same exact thing. Just get him up on top of the hill, run him back, you consecrate up there, run back, AoE him down, kill, kill, kill. Very simple, very rinse and repeat. And then after that, then you have the next boss. Yeah, I will. Let me get there, and then we'll go ahead and do the next boss. I'll go over his abilities real quick. So his abilities, this is... What the hell boss is this? Anatheron. So Anatheron and Vampiric Aura. Heals himself for 300% damage. He deals in melee. Yeah, it sucks. Carrion Swarm creates a long cone shape on the ground, and this only really affects healers. Okay, so on this one, healers, you're going to be separated out into separate areas. 1 healer, 2 healer, 3 healer, so on and so forth, okay? Because the whole thing is that you can't get hit by the carrion swarm. You can't have every healer get hit by the carrion swarm, or else you're doing 75% less damage. And you can't dodge it. It comes out too quick to dodge. It comes out like a pizza slice. And it comes really fast, and then before you know it, you'll get the debuff, and then you're screwed. It's not too long, 10 seconds or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of bugged on the PTR. I did get hit by the carrion swarm, but no debuff actually showed up on mine. So I don't know what the debuff or how long the debuff is going to be for. You just don't want to have every healer there. He also summons an Inferno. It's just on a random person. We'll have myself or Grip go ahead and tank the Infernos over here, like back towards the boss a little bit. You just don't want to bring them close to the raid. You don't kill the Infernos at all. You just completely ignore them. The debuff is 15 seconds, Poké says. You just ignore them. You kill the boss. Simple as that. And then Berserk. But another boss, he's got 4.5 million health, same as Rage. Really not a lot of health. It's just kind of a tank and spank for the most part. Spawns ads, tank and spank. Really relatively simple. But it's the same concept. You go ahead and just wait for him. He'll go ahead and run to you. This one, Jaina, you can go ahead and get Jaina actually done because he doesn't do a lot of what's-its. And then you just go ahead and just drag him into the center. So that's the carrion swarm. Did everybody see that? Yeah, 20-second debuff. There you go. So he turns around, does the carrion swarm. That big green wave. So you don't want to have every healer hit by that, or else you're going to get... It's going to suck. So you just go ahead and just start doing damage. See, I got hit by it again, but my debuff didn't refresh or anything like that, so... Yeah, I don't know. It was... Yeah. It's you know, PTR, so who really knows? So there's the Infernal. You just take the Infernal, drag out the Infernal, don't kill the Infernal, don't even worry about it, just off-tank it, and then just keep focusing on an Etheron, and then you just burn him down. That's it. Healer spread out, burn down. Away from everybody. Correct. And if you get an Infernal spawned on you, run towards the off-tank. Simple as that. Okay, so if you're going to get an Infernal spawned on you, just run away from everybody so it doesn't do any damage to everybody else. Don't run onto the tank tanking the Infernal too, because it's going to do extra damage to the tank when it lands. Just get ready to go ahead and run. It may one-shot your cloth wearers. It sucks, just is what it is. But other than that, you just kind of tank and spank it. Move on. And then that's 2 bosses dead. After that, you make a long-ass trip up to the next camp, which is going to be the Horde Camp. Hey, it's Kratos. So the next camp is the Horde Camp. It just sucks. You got to go ahead and make this long-ass run. The good thing is that if something does happen, you do wipe, you don't have to make this run again. There is a direct instance entrance to the Horde Camp. Oh, that's a good question. Anybody minor? So this is the Horde Camp. It's a lot bigger than... What was that? Correct. Yes. So it's important we not wipe. Same thing with Thrall. Thrall's over there too at the Horde Camp. He dies. 8-minute respawn. So this is the Horde Camp. So with this Horde Camp, what you do is... I'll go ahead and bring up this. Let me clear all this shit. Isn't there a clear all button? Okay, so the entrance to the Horde Camp, so we'll go ahead and they come from this way, right there where the skull is. We will go ahead and wait till they get here, and then tanks will pick them up right here. Casters and range, you can use this pillar here at this tower as line of sight. So if they do aggro you, you can go ahead and line of sight them here so they come in closer. And then they just kill them here. On a couple of the waves, specifically the waves with gargoyles, those actually spawn in a different location, okay? Those ones spawn back here. And what'll happen is when we're coming up to those waves, when it's waves 4, and it only happens wave 4 and one other wave, we'll have the hunters go over with NRG probably, and probably Malfunction or Angela, go ahead and go with them. Hunters will get them all up, because they fly down. They aren't on the ground, they fly down, get aggro on them, and then just run back here. You don't do damage to them, you just kite them back, and just kite them back to the group them up, and then the tanks, Contaminant will tank them, gather them all up, and tank them up. At the same time they're coming, you'll still get Crypt Fiends, which come from the normal way from the front here. So we'll have the Crypt Fiends, all the melee and casters here to start, while the hunters drag all the gargoyles over to the rest of the group. All you have to do is get aggro on them, and then come back. That's it. And they are a pain in the ass, because they'll be sitting there chunking, like, they don't do a lot of damage, so don't worry about dying to them. They're just a pain in the ass. There's one other wave that does the same thing, where they'll actually spawn like around here, and instead of the hunters going ahead and grabbing them, everybody except the hunters who are getting aggro on them, and range who are getting aggro on them, and myself and Grip, along with 1 or 2 healers, taking out the Crypt Fiends, will go ahead and run into this little building and line of sight them down. So then they'll all be grouped up here in this hut, AoE them down, and then we'll go ahead and finish off the Crypt Fiends if they're still up. Yep. So, more waves, more waves, more waves. So here's us setting up for the line of sight. Okay, this is the gargoyles. The hunter went off. He's going to go pick up the gargoyles. Yep, the same things. Oh. No, incorrect. No. No. These ones are just standard gargoyles. The NPCs. Yep, they just sit there and just, pump the NPCs. Yeah, they're really simple. They're just annoying. See, this one, they weren't actually coming all the way down, so we had to go over there and actually kill them, so on and so forth. It's just easier. Yeah, easier for the hunters just to run over there, shoot them, get aggro on them, and then run away, and then run back to the group. Then just line of sight them. Because if you're line of sight, then they'll come down so everybody else can kill them. Yeah. It will be until you get a rhythm. You guys will figure it out sooner or later. It'll take a time or two. A frostworm also spawns in 1 or 2 of the phases, and it's just a big frostworm. Just a pain in the ass. More Crypt Fiends, and then another one of the waves is Infernals. There's the ones from the front here. So here's the one where you go ahead and line of sight in the hut. So Crypt Fiends still spawn from the front, and then those gargoyles spawn at the top there, and they just start blasting people. So you want to get aggro on them, and then you run over to the hut. You gather them all in the hut. If you have aggro on one, run to the hut. Don't Frost Nova like that dumbass mage did. You just line of sight them, gather them all up, AoE them all down. They don't have a lot of health. They don't have a lot of armor. They just die. That's the Frost Worm coming down too. You just group them all up there, and then you AO them down. Simple. They don't do a lot of damage. You see everybody's health just staying still. It's just really simple. The Frost Worm's a bit of more of a pain in the ass. He doesn't really land fully until he gets lower. He'll just start breathing from high up. So ranged, you're really going to be focused more on killing that one as quick as you can. When he does go ahead and get aggro on someone, run and line of sight him. It does work like Onyxia, where if you do get underneath the Frostworm and he's in the air like that, you can do instant cast abilities and be able to hit him. But it's, it's got 332,000 health. It's really not a lot. It'll die relatively quick. So you go ahead and just kill that one, and then you move on. More stuff, you line of sight it, go ahead and take it out. Another Frostworm. Again, line of sight it when you can, get it down low, go ahead and kill it as quickly as you possibly can. Yeah, for the most part, until they get into melee range. You have a caster tanking it. And then, again, more A-bombs, more Fiends, everything like that. And that goes for those waves. So here comes this boss. This is Khazrogal. Khazrogal does the mark. So this is the one where you have to watch your mana. Because of this one right here. It drains 600 mana every second for 5 seconds. Okay, so that's 3,000 mana for people who aren't good at math. If your mana reaches 0, you turn into a bomb and you blow everybody up around you. It does about 5 to 6k damage. It's used 45 seconds, and then each time the next cast is reduced by 5. When we did it, I think we got 4 marks. It's really easy to go ahead and avoid the problem, unless you're Bogram. And then you go ahead and blow me up. It is not dispellable. You just take it. You just take it for 5 seconds. You just got to make sure when the mark is coming out, you have more than 3,000 mana. So, mana pots, runes, whatever you need to do, make sure you have more than 3,000 mana. If you don't, and you are going to turn into a bomb, you run out of anybody's way. Other than that, he does a frontal cleave. No really other problems. No big abilities. You just drag him to Thrall. Thrall helps beat on him. NPCs, he does the War Stomp, which is not a big deal. He, again, 4.2 million health. Every boss in here has 4.2 million health, I think, except Archimonde. I think Archimonde has a little bit more. That's about it. But he goes ahead and, yeah, something like that. He doesn't have a lot, but you only have to kill him to 10%. No, Vash now. Yeah, well, let's see what boss has 4 million health. Maybe Void Reaver? It's not a lot, though. So, mark's going out in 30 seconds. It's a second mark, so we already had 1 mark. So you notice Bogram's mana, and he's right next to me on the right. Right over here. So then, mark 1 out, take some damage, make sure you have mana. Simple. Did you already blow up Bogram or not yet? It was. It really doesn't, I mean, it's not hard to go ahead and avoid, and if you do get blown up, it's really not that big of a deal as long as you're solo. If you're away from everybody, it doesn't hurt anything. So, yeah, okay. Right here. It'll blow up right there. See, he does like an AE, and it hit him for like 5 or 6k. And then he dies. That's it. Simple. Easy boss. Really not hard. I don't know. So then after that, more waves. This is when we get Infernals. Infernals just spawn all over the place. They just come dropping from the sky. More Frostworms, more Gargoyles. That kind of BS. If you are a hunter and you are kiting these Infernals, do not get close to the Infernal. You will die. So that's the Infernal wave. Correct. Yeah, none of them are DPS races at all. Yep. Very much so. So these are the Infernals. They only got 130k health. Just group them up, AO them down. They don't do a ton of damage, but if you're not a tank, they will kill you. How much did they hit for, Bogram? Yeah, you just don't want to leave your hunter friends alone. If you see if the hunters are going out there, healers go with them, okay? Very important that a healer is associated with the hunters when they're kiting things back. We'll probably put NRG on that, and hunters, don't go too far off by your own. Then more waves, and then you get boss guy again. Next boss. More infernal waves, more bullshit waves. It's just boring. It's just repetitive. It's actually, honestly, it's kind of fun, but it's just repetitive. Very repetitive. It's very easy to go ahead and lose where you're at, sleep, and then wipe, and then have to do it all over again. But see, for instance, it's a quick instance because we've been in here for an hour and we're fighting the last boss. Okay, next, this boss right here. This boss, again, very simple. Has a few different mechanics than the other ones. This is Asgalore. So he does a frontal cleave. So you don't want to go ahead and be in front of him. He does the howl, which silences everybody. Can't outrange it. He just does a howl, you'll get silenced. Kind of like Gruul. Same exact thing. Does a rain of fire that you can outrange. It's only a 30-yard radius from him. So you can outrange it. If you have spells that go past 30 yards, mages, warlocks, veiled, I'm sorry, you kind of get screwed. But all you have to do is just avoid it, and you'll be fine. Just stay with outside of 30 yards from him, and you'll be able to just free cast the entire time. The other one, the big change or big thing for him is called Doom. It just turns one player every 20 seconds to a lesser Doom guard. It'll cast a debuff on you. After 20 seconds, you'll die. There is no dispelling it, there's no bubbling it, there's no ice blocking it. 20 seconds, when the debuff's up, you will die. You will spawn a lesser Doom guard, which is off-tanked and forgot about. You just off-tank those, kind of like the Infernals on the other boss. Off-tank them to the side, and then just kill the boss. So, going to this boss now. So that's the Doom Guard right there. So, Doom Guard should be coming up here in a second. So, what we were doing is we can put the Doom Guard anywhere. You could probably put the Doom Guard over by Thrall and just have Thrall hit the Doom Guard and just be fine. It's not a big deal. But he'll cast it, 20 seconds, you'll die, turn into a Doom Guard, and be picked up. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's important you run out, so... Yeah. Yeah, so this guy who's Skull right here, he's an idiot. He went the wrong way. We were supposed to go to Thrall to go ahead and do it. And then he goes ahead and finally gets there, and then dies, and then spawns a Doom Guard. Off tank will pick it up, drag it over to Thrall, or just anywhere it needs to be. Just everybody stay away from the Doom Guard, and then just keep focusing on the boss. like I said, there is no way out of it. If you get picked, the gods hate you. And then you just kill the boss. Very, very simple. Then after that, you finish off the Doom Guards that are any up. And then you continue on to the next Night Elf Camp, which is the last one. So this is the big thing here, is that this Night Elf Camp, you'll meet Tyrande Whisperwind, and you'll have to get Tears of Heaven from her, okay? Let's see. Okay. It's basically a parachute cloak. It's a clickable, it's a usable thing, usable item from her, right here. You'll get that. The Tears of the Goddess. You put it on your bar, and you go ahead and remember where the hell it is, because one of the abilities that Archimonde has is called Air Blast, or Air Burst. This weak aura doesn't really work. I'm not going to give it out. It's just really simple to go ahead and just click it. It's really kind of annoying to have. We wiped on it once, so I'm just going to go past. I'll do the wipe. So we did wipe on it once because people don't know how to move out of fire. So you engage the boss, huge aggro radius. You mount in and you run in. Okay? So let me go ahead and show the setup for this fight real quick. So, boss tanked here. We'll separate out the groups around the boss. Okay? 2, 3, 4, and 5. I prefer to have 5 shamans in each group. If we can't have that, we'll have to do 4, and then one group will just have to go ahead and deal with the fear, because he does an AoE fear. That's why you have each group here. That way each group is assigned with a shaman, and each shaman drops Tremor Totem. 100% of the time, Tremor Totem is down. What was that? No. So Archimonde has these abilities. Air Burst does a little bit of nature damage, and then it throws you high up in the air, and you will take fall damage and probably die from it. That's why you get that trinket from, or that item from Tyrande. You use it right before you hit the ground. You don't use it at the apex of your fall. The reason being is because it only lasts 3 seconds. You use it when you're about to hit the ground so you don't die. So when you get blown up into the air, don't immediately hit that button. Mages, you can blink it. Pallies, bubble it, so on and so forth. You'll still get air bursted up in the air, but you won't take the fall damage. Otherwise, you use the Tears of Heaven right before you hit the ground and float safely down. It does a fear, used every 40 seconds. Does a grip, decurse, 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 decurse. Mages, you can't just sit there and blast them on this one. You have to decurse. It's a huge part of the fight to decurse. And the reason is because we can't have anybody die because of this. Soul Charge. Okay? Soul Charge fucks. Okay? Yeah, if you die, you have the potential to wipe the raid. Especially as a warrior, rogue, or paladin. Because what will happen is they'll increase their damage taken for 50 by 50%, which means the tank will be taking 50% more damage for 4 seconds. It sucks. Same thing with the Mage, Priest, Warlocks. You guys aren't screwing over yourselves. You're screwing all the melee and the tank. Okay? Druid, Hunter, Shaman, you guys can die. It's honestly not that big of a deal. Mage, Priest, Warlock, Paladin, Rogue, Warrior, you guys cannot die. Very, very, very important because it has the potential to wipe the raid. It's healable and it's doable, but it sucks. Finger Death, massive shadow damage, no one's in melee range, shouldn't be a big deal. Also, you only have to kill him 90%. The last 10%, wisps come in, finish the raid. Very simple. So the fire also, it didn't go through the fire, but the fire will follow a random person. You won't know who it's targeting. You'll just see if it's following you. Run. Don't run in a circle. Run in a straight line away from everybody else. Because if you get feared and they get feared in the fire hurts. It does about 2,200 damage a tick. It is not to be toyed with, not to be played with. Okay, there's the air burst on me. Perfect. Okay, so air burst. So I didn't even get air bursted. Someone near me got air bursted. So you get up, you use Tear of Heaven before you fall to the ground, and then you go and do it. That's it. Very simple. Spread out as well, because the air burst is an AoE, so if you're stacked up on everybody, you'll air burst you and everybody around you. So make sure you spread out. Spread out, decurse, do damage, don't run fire into the group, simple as that. And this is how quickly it can actually go downhill, because we're actually doing really well. We're at 60%. We only got 50% more to go, because you only have to give them to 10%. And then shit starts going downhill real quick. There's a fire, somebody not moving, just ran it through 3 people. Like, 3-4 people just sat there and just total, like, dumb brain. This is how not to do it right here. Fire's coming, you move. You don't stay there and cast, finish casting, you move. Because it takes a lot of damage. Just move away from the fire, keep spread out from everybody as much as you possibly can. The other thing this group is doing wrong, you see the far side where Moon is? Look how much space is over there that's not being used. Use the entire area. You don't have to stay clumped up. Tremor Totem, Will the Forsaken. You need to use Tremor Totem. It's not should. It's a mandatory requirement. Tremor Totem is down. We'll put marks over all the shaman's heads so you know where your shaman's at. So that shaman died. So that shaman now gave Archimonde buff to do like more damage, which sucks. So extremely important, spread out, stay away from fire. See, that's the soul charge. Everybody took 1100 damage from the soul charge when somebody died. It's not fun. It sucks. It hurts. So that's the one we actually kill them on. Everybody spread out more, finally. We did lose a warrior. Everybody took more damage. We then lost somebody else, took more damage. Yep. Yep, right on pull. It was a scuffed pull. Yep. It's a 45-second debuff. I run into it over here to go ahead and get it on my combat log here. Shit. Shut up. I did, right? No, it's not here. Oh, right there as well, there is invisible walls that you can't run any further. You can't go up the hill, for instance, right where I was. You'll get stopped by an invisible wall. So if you're running into an invisible wall, run to the side or else the fire's going to catch up to you. But yeah, consumes. As much consumes as you can get. Yeah. Yeah. And again, this isn't a DPS race. It's a don't die race. If you don't die, we win. Very simple. Just a management your ability to stay out of shit. That's it. So 44 seconds is the debuff, taking me for 2250. 2100, 2400. So it hurts. It is not a small debuff. So you do not want to get hit by the fire. It had to. Science. Oh no, it sucks. No, it's yeah, you don't want to do it. So he hits 10%, you win the fight. Everybody stops taking damage. And then boom. Winners. That's it. They don't have any spoilers on it. Okay. Okay, then after that, next we have Black Temple. Right now, nothing. Pancakes. What the hell? There's gotta be like a clear all. Alright. Just delete all this shit here. Oh no. Alright, so now we're on to Black Temple. So, Trash of Black Temple is actually not that big of a deal. There's a couple mobs here that are a bit of a pain in the ass. These ones aren't that big of a deal. You go ahead and just tank the big guy, and it comes with 2 Naga. You just separate them. You just keep them all together, cleave them all up, cleave them all down. Just face them away because they do a frontal cone. The big green guy. You kill the Nagas first, the sorceresses, the sea witches. You kill them first, and then you kill the big guy. Very simple. Don't do a ton of damage. Got a couple of packs of those. These ones suck though. Is that the 2 Naga actually buff the Hydra. So you have to pull him out of range. So you take the Hydra, you pull him to where Circle's at right now, you pull him to the left, and you pull Skull and X back to where the rest of the raid's at. And then you just kill Skull and X, and then you kill the Hydra. You just separate them a little bit, so it's, you know, very simple. Correct. You cannot CC the Naga. Then you got another pack of these things, and then you get up to a little bit more harder stuff. You got this one, same exact pack. The pack on the right with the turtles sucks. It's probably the hardest pack in the instance. This pack right here sucks. You can hibernate the turtles, but as soon as the turtles, as soon as X or Skull get, or I think it's the other one, the handlers, die, they are no longer CCable. So you have to just burn as quickly as possible. So you just want to burn them down as quickly as you possibly can. This pull right here, like I said, is the hardest pull in the instance. You gotta take it seriously. You gotta be ready for it. You can hibernate, you can sheep the turtles, but then they become immune. They just hit hard, and they have a lot of armor. They hurt, is what they do. I don't know the exact abilities of them. I can get the exact abilities. But yeah, they're not fun. You theoretically can. Yeah. Well, we'll have to go ahead and try it out then. And they have that defensive ability. Yeah. I'm not sure if they were switching targets or not, but we can double check. We'll take that pack seriously. This next pull actually sucks as well. All these little guys do a spit that does a lot of nature damage. So you have to make sure that you line of sight them and that you go ahead and don't Frost Nova them next to everybody because they do a nature damage. Every shaman in every group has nature totem or poison cleansing totem down, and you just AoE them. But it's a lot of damage that goes out. Circle of Healing is huge. I believe so, yeah. Yeah, you can't kite them down. You hit it. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So then you have Nagentis, the first boss. Okay, so let's go Nagentis. So Nagentis, here we go. First boss, double attack, not a big deal, just as melee attack. Horseshoe swipes, just does cleave, needle spine. This is a big one. Throws a needle at a random player, goes ahead and basically embeds into that person. Okay, or sorry, this is the AOE one. He goes ahead and hits it, and then anyone within 6 yards takes damage. So everybody's got to be spread out 6 yards, or else you're gonna chain damage to everybody else, or everybody's going to take damage around you. Impaling Spine, this is the big one. So every 20 seconds, he throws a spike at somebody, it'll impale that person, and they will be unable to move. So somebody else has to go over, click on it, and then it puts an item into your bag, which you hold on to until Tidal Shield. So every 60 seconds, he creates a bubble around himself that makes him immune to everything, and heals himself for 1% every 2 seconds. Okay, he stops doing everything, so nobody will take damage, except the tank, and everybody can go ahead and get topped off. Then when everybody's topped off, the person who got the Impaling Spine throws it, uses it, throws it, pops his bubble. Everybody in the raid takes 8,500 frost damage, no matter what. Okay, you can resist it, it's going to be rare, because we're not going to have frost damage, and you don't use frost resist. You have to make sure you have more than 8,500 health. Mandatory. Thank you, Malfunction. So it's mandatory you go ahead and have everything on there, 8,500 health or more. That's the biggest thing. The other thing is, you do not pop the bubble until it's called to pop the bubble. If you pop the bubble early, it will kill people. Because the raid has to be topped off, because it's going to be close to people having 8,500 health max. So it's important that you do not pop the bubble until it's called for. If you pop the bubble early, you will kill everybody. Trust me, I know. You can watch Gorthax. I may have. I mean, somebody may have. It was Veggie Ruda. This is some warlock on the PTR did it. Veggie Ruda, I know. I know. I have no idea. But he goes ahead, so you tank him. Chet, thanks for the bits! Dude, my dog. He's getting the cheers. So this is Gentis. Here is the IO for it. Gentis. Thank you. A function. You tank him here. Everybody else spreads along the side here. Okay? Just spread out. Use it all around. Okay? You don't want to be back here. You're not going to be line of sighted from these pillars, from healers and stuff like that. He's faced the way we're facing now, and then melee behind him. Okay? And then you just go ahead and just kill him. So let's watch the fight. Doesn't have a lot of health. 3.7 million. Not a big deal. So I like where this is being tanked here in the middle of the room as opposed to in between the pillars. No line of sight issues. So there's the spine. So, see right there in the bottom of the screen? Impaling Spine, ... He goes, this guy picks it up, and then just goes back to DPSing. Don't have to use it, don't do anything yet, just DPS. Just keep DPSing. Kind of like on Hydras, you go ahead and have melee split into groups. This guy in the center is fucking everybody. So we'll call him Bearded. And you go ahead and have one group here, one group on the other side, and then the tank in the front. There's the Tidal Shield. So look at everybody's health. Okay, watch everybody's health. Everybody's full health right now. Boom. That's the damage you expect to take. Very important, healers who are assigned to healing the tank, you just focus on the tank. Let the other healers go ahead and get the rest of the raid up. The tank will take a lot of damage immediately after the Tidal Shield, so it's majorly important to go ahead and keep the tank up. Priest, Circle of Healing, Shaman, Chain Heal, and you just heal everybody up. If you have health stones, bandage, do what you can to get yourself up as well. Because it does 8,500 damage and it hurts. So you want to go ahead and be able to pick yourself back up because he'll start doing Needling Spine again, and that guy didn't get healed. Ironically, because he's a healer. So very important that you go ahead and spread out. As soon as the bubble gets popped, you heal yourself back up as quickly as you possibly can. That's the Needling Spine. That's the one that does the AoE within 6 yards. That just is, yeah. Oh, it's constant. It's constant throughout the fight. It does about 1,500 to 2,000 damage. There's Tidal Shield again. Very simple. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He'll only hit the tank. You just heal everybody up to full. And then as soon as we call for it, you pop it, everybody takes the damage, and then you heal yourself back up. On the splash. There you go. Oh, no, we were doing this because he wanted to see how much he was healing for or doing something. Or no, you know what it was? I think we didn't get a spine. That's what it was. I think that's why that druid got hit. He got hit with the spine and died. So we didn't have a spine. So he healed himself up that much. And we didn't get a spine here, so we had to just wait through it. So, if you don't get a spine, this is what's important. You cannot die if you have the spine, or if the person gets hit by the spine, we can't let them die because the spine will disappear. So very important to go ahead and make sure that if you get the spine, you don't die. And it's also very important, the person who does get spined, you pick it up from them as quickly as possible, and they don't die. Otherwise, you don't have a spine, and this is what you're dealing with. And it's true. Oh, see, there's the spine on the right there. Guy picked it up. Now we finally have one, but he healed 30%. Okay, so bubble. Now we have a spine. Heal everybody up. Pop it. Boom. And everybody heal back up. There's another spine. So you can go ahead and deal without a spine, at least without popping the bubble, but he'll heal, it'll just prolong the fight. Just makes it annoying. And you have to kill him within 10 minutes or else he goes berserk. But that's the fight, that's that fight. And then you move on. So even with all those screw-ups, we still one-shot it. Not a big deal. So after that, then we move into where Supremacy is. Supremacy, so this trash is relatively simple. There's a couple of little tricky parts on it. Not that big of a deal. But they're pretty much tank and spank and AoE. So same thing. Main tank this guy. Little guys come. You stick to the right side. You don't go ahead and aggro the left side. You can skip a ton of mobs in here. It's not that big of an issue. Just go in. You AoE them. These big guys are a pain in the ass. They do a stun that cannot be outranged. So you just pick them up, you point them away from the raid, they do like a cleave or a frost breath thing, and you go ahead and just kill them one by one. They do a stomp, like I said, it cannot be outranged, you will get stunned. They do a rain of fire, very simple to move, and then you just go ahead and kill them. Then there are some flying mobs as well that you'll have to go ahead, these ones right here. Oh no, that wasn't it. Where's this? There's the flying ones. These flying ones are a bit of a pain in the ass because they take a while to actually bring down. So you have to have a hunter go ahead and grab it, try to kite it down if it can be kited down. If it can't, then we'll just have to go ahead and just kill it ranged. It's got, was it 200k health? But they do land at some point once they get close enough to the ground. But you basically just clear an entire path in front of Supremacy. And then Supremacy goes ahead and you need all the space here. So it's very important that we go ahead and clear everything that we can in order to go and do it. You don't have to kill all the flying mobs. That's not a big deal. Just all the ones on the ground. So Supremacy has a couple of different abilities here. Supremacy, normal state, use Hateful Strike, which the Hateful Strike is it hits the top of the melee in range with the most health. It's not threat, it's health based. So it's kind of like, what's his name, Patchwork. Same concept. Still have to have threat just in case the main tank dies, so on and so forth. He does a punch, hits the ground, and does fire damage to anybody standing in it. Just stay out of fire. And then phase 2 is when he'll go ahead into pursuit state, which he'll fixate a random person, and he'll start chasing them. If you're further than 40 yards away, he'll go up and he'll start running towards you. He'll also spawn a volcano on the ground that does fire damage to all players within 8 yards of it. The geyser, the volcanic geyser, spawns on a player. So that's why it's very important to be spread out in like a half circle or a circle when this phase is happening, so you don't get any volcanoes in the middle of the area we're killing him, because he'll go back to phase 1 at after phase 2. So we kill him, we do that, we put him there, we'll have melee DPS on him, okay, range DPS will be here, here, and just spread out. Everybody just spread out. And then when phase 2 comes along, everybody just go in a big circle. Just a giant circle. Okay? Just spread out. Just stay away from volcanoes. stay away from the middle of the room. He'll go ahead and start, he'll go from, he'll go this way, and then he'll go this way, and then he'll go this way, so on and so forth. Okay? Melee, important that when he's going to change, that you are not next to him or you'll die. It's better to not do damage on phase 2 and live. Yeah. Well, you're kind of safe. It's still not worth it because it'll hurt. Yeah. Yeah. It's better to be safe, get away from them, don't worry about your parses to start at least. We'll get more parses later, not a big deal. Just stay away from them. Phase 2 happens. There's a ramp up here that you can also go up if you need to go ahead and get more space. But just stay here. Do not go outside of the boundary, where the texture changes on the ground. Don't go outside of that because there will be mobs here. There'll be trash over here, okay? So you don't want to go outside of this little area. So just stay in this area, stay in a circle, and main reason is because when the volcanoes spawn, we want the volcanoes spawning on the outside, so when phase 1 goes back to phase 1, we can take them in the center and not have to worry about volcanoes in the center. Because the volcanoes do hurt. And it's a huge splash area. It is a huge splash area. It's not something where it's within 3 yards or something like that. It's massive. So just stay away from the volcanoes. There's the molten flame. That's the blue line. That's the molten flame. Stay out of the molten flame. See, he's going around just hateful striking everybody. Now he's back on to hateful striking the off tank. So we're going to have all 3 tanks basically go ahead and tank it. We'll have, Grip myself or Contaminant tanking him, and then the other 2 will go ahead and just take the hatefuls. Exactly like Patchwork. Yep, just with blue flame. No, it kind of like it just kind of spawns in a rotation. Just see how it is. It doesn't. It spawns under it and it follows somebody. Yes. No. Which one? Snake? Yeah, snake. Okay, so you see where that... Okay, right there. So you see that volcano? That's where you want the volcanoes to spawn. You want them to spawn on the outside. The reason being is because if you're trying to kite Supremacy, you don't want volcanoes in the center. Because you'll run through a volcano and you will die. It's not a DPS race. He's actually only got 4.5 million health. He's really easy. He doesn't do a ton of damage melee-wise. You just have to stay away from him. It's bigger than that. It may say it, but it's a huge splash damage. And it chunks. So then now he's back to phase 1. And you just go back to... See, this is why you don't want volcanoes in the room, because now melee can't get there and go ahead and do anything, because there's volcanoes right next to Supremacy. The volcanoes just kill the melee. They do despawn after a certain amount of time, but you don't want to go ahead and be right there. You don't want to have them spawn in the middle. So phase 1 hits, we'll drag them back, put them into a space where it's easier to go ahead and handle, where there's more space, and then just kill them. But like I said, he doesn't do a ton of damage in phase 1. So as long as you can outlast phase 2, burn him down. I think we wound up killing him with like 10 people. Yeah. And one of these guys in the raid is actually not in the raid, he's in chat. Yeah, so 20% with only 10 people. Really not that hard. Then you kill him and continue on. Again, like I said, just last phase 2. You last through phase 2, then you move forward. And after that, you get more trash. And then next up is a comma, I believe is next. This trash, not really that big of an issue. Just basically group them up, AoE them down. They're really not. They don't hit that hard. They aren't that big of a deal. There's a couple trash mobs in here that do hit a lot and do hit pretty hard, but they're actually very few and far between. Not very many mechanics with regards to the trash here, at least. Then you go over here. More trash, more trash, more trash. Okay, here's a commons room. Okay, so a commons room. This is good. Okay, so the trash pack on the right, you clear the one that's marked skull first, then you clear the trash pack on the right. Trash pack on the left, you want to keep one of the trash packs up. Or not one of the trash packs, one of the mobs up. And the reason being is because for a comma, this is an ad fight. It's an ad fight with the burn phase. So go ahead and here's a commas group, clear map. This is a stupid view of it. Okay, so a comma starts up here with, top down. That's a better room. Corner. Okay, this would be better. Okay, so comma starts there at the skull. You'll have groups of mobs coming out from there, groups of mobs coming out from this side, and then you have 5 summoners stacked around him summoning the Shade of a Comma, okay? What you'll do is you go ahead and have one of these trash packs that's still up, one of these trash mobs over here, and you keep them up, you kite them back into the center of all the summoners, and you use that as a seed target to AoE down as quickly as you can those summoners. So you see the summoners up there on the platform? So you take one of those mobs, you drag it up there because they're too far spread apart now to be seeded on. And then you use that one target as a seed target. So you keep one mob up, and then you finally kite it up. This one's the caster, I don't know why they kept this one up, but you cannot interrupt this guy. And you just bring it up to the center, you seed off of that one, and you kill those as fast as possible. You kill those, then the Shade of a Comma becomes active, and it's no tanking. There's 0 threat issues, 0 tanking with regards to the Shade. All you do is you just burn him down, and all DPS just starts focusing on the Shade. You don't do anything to anything else but the Shade. You have about a minute to kill him before you die. Before a comma dies. A comma can't die. So see how he's starting walking slowly. He's walking towards the real comma now. So once he gets there, he'll start fighting a comma. Meanwhile, those mobs, you're still kiting them. Don't focus on killing them. Just control. Just control. I don't know why people were killing him on this, but it's just control. But then all you do is just go ahead and you focus fire the Shade of a Comma. Once the Shade of a Comma is down, then you can AoE everything else down. There's a rain of fire. But like I said, no threat. That's when we lust and you burn them. Just complete burn phase. I don't think that much. I think only like 1 million. Yeah, no, it's super simple. Super simple. So the biggest problem is going to be the ads that come out. There's 3 separate ads. There is the Defender, those are the big guys. Those are the guys that will have a dedicated tank to focusing on. The Rogues, Elementalists, and Spirit Binders, they come in packs of 3. You just pick them up and you just run them around in a circle and you just kite them. So Earth Binds, Frost Traps, etc. Freezing Traps. You just kite them in a circle. Basically like the Murlocs on Tidewalker. So Contaminate, get your strafe button ready, okay? You're going to have to learn again real quick because you can't face tank these, you'll die. They hit too hard. So you just kite them around in a circle and all you do is just keep them off everybody else. There's a good chance you'll die, there's a good chance I'll die, there's a good chance Grip will die. That doesn't matter as long as the rest of the raid stays up and burns a comma down. That's it. That's all that matters. But after a comma is active, after the shade is active, it's a super quick fight. It's just a matter of burning him down and then dead. I think I do target him here at some point, so I'll be able to see how much health exactly, but I can find out sooner later too. Yeah, Akama's already dead. The shade's already dead. Simple. And then you just profit. Done. Fight's over. So that's Shade of Akama. Next is Gorefiend. More trash, more trash, more trash. So Terran Gorefiend. It's just basic trash. These guys aren't a big deal. They're just tank and spank. So then you have, with Terran Gorefiend, the biggest thing is the mechanic that everybody's talking about with regards to the debuff that he puts on. It is called Shadow of Death. So it'll go to a random person. That debuff will kill you after 55 seconds. When you die, you become a ZG ghost. Okay? When you get spawned as a ZG ghost, you'll have 4 spirits that you'll have to kill before they reach the group. If they reach the group, it'll basically wipe. So there is a fun little... Can you post the minigame in Barons? Or in raid chat? Okay, yeah, you do it in Twitch chat, but it's very simple, okay? Very simple. All you do, you just go ahead and run to the corner here. This is a top-down view of the map, okay? You just run to the corner. And you just 5, 4, and then you just 3, 3, 3, 3. And you just keep hitting 3. And then you just kill them all. It slows them down. And you just do that. That's it. It's very simple. Oh, 31 seconds. Beat that. I've actually gotten 29 seconds, and I have a screenshot to prove it. Give me 29 seconds. Jamie will give you 20 gold. You know what? 50 gold. Okay, 50 gold. No, 100 gold from the guild bank, whoever gets the highest score. Okay? Screenshot it. You have to screenshot it. 100 gold from the guild bank. Very simple. Yep. So the setup for this fight, at least the tanking and everything, Terran Gore Fiends tanked here at Skull. The rest of the group is at Circle. If you get the debuff, you go back into this corner over here. You spawn, press 5, then press 4, and then just tab hit and 3. Tab 3, tab 3, tab 3, tab 3, tab 3. And then you go and you help the next person. 5 is an AoE, 4 is an AoE Frost Nova, 3 is like a Frostbolt, or a Ice Lance, whatever it's called. Yep. And it's very, very simple. Yep, AoE and Frost Nova as often as you possibly can. And you just go through piece by piece, just Frostbolt, Frostbolt, Frostbolt. So you just go through, it's very, very simple. These two mobs, you just use his rage, you get whatever you need to, you go ahead and then you just go right into him, and you just tank him. You just tank and spank, that's all it is. Tank, spank, and kill. He's only got 5 million health. It's not a lot of health. Especially when you're able to just sit there and just purely cast. So it's a quite boring fight unless you get what's it? So you get, see, there's the ZG Ghost. That's what you turn into, Vengeful Spirit, and then you get rezzed up on our way out, and then we continue on. We got more trash. This next trash is actually a little bit more interesting than the rest of the stuff. It's got a couple of mechanics. It's got the wolves here clap. They hurt. And so do the big guys with the axes. They have to be tanked away, or tanked facing away, because they'll kill everybody else. They have a massive cleave. You just pick them up, take them away, and then just continue on. Do not pull threat on these guys. They will kill you and the raid itself. The big massive orcs, they do a couple of different things. They actually have a meteor strike ability. That you have two groups. You have melee group, just like the AQ guys, the big AQ Anubises. You have meteor groups. They'll go ahead and do a meteor on everybody. It just happened right there. It's very simple. You just go ahead and stack up. And that's all this. That's the same kind of mobs the entire time, the entire way there. It's really not that big of a deal. Just more of these guys, same thing. The next boss is really a bigger issue. These guys, they just look big and scary. They really don't hit that. I mean, they hit hard, but they don't have any special mechanics or anything. Still tank and spank. So, Gurtog Blood Boil. This is going to be a boss that's going to be difficult to do, okay? So, Gurtog has a couple of different things, couple different issues. Black Temple. The big mechanic is Blood Boil for him, okay? So, Blood Boil applies 5 furthest players with a debuff that does 600 damage for 24 seconds. So we'll set up 3 groups, groups A, B, and C, going out at separate times. He does it 5 times, and then he does Fell Rage. Fell Rage turns somebody big, massive. They automatically become the tank. Doesn't matter which class, doesn't matter what everything. Priests, make sure you have Inner Fire up and shield yourself. Shamans, Stone Skin, do what you can to go ahead and get start healing yourself. You don't do damage if you're tanking it. You heal yourself if you're able to heal yourself. At that point during Fell Rage, every healer on the Fell Rage target. You aren't healing the tanks, you're healing that Fell Rage target during that phase, okay? After that phase, he'll go back to going normal size, and then he'll go back to tanking. Tanks be tank swaps because he'll do acidic wounds. You get 7 to 10 acidic wounds on you, and then you'll have to tank swap. There's no taunting, it's all threat based, okay? You go ahead and get 7 to 10 acidic wound stacks on you, and then you swap it off the next tank. Simple as that. The biggest thing though is that blood boil. So the setup, we'll go ahead and have. Okay, so he spawns here. Okay, this is just where he spawns. Okay, so the bottom of the screen is where we come in and where we start setting up. We'll tank them on this side. Okay, we'll have the melee groups and everything. The melee groups right behind them. The range groups will be about right there, just a little bit before the water. Okay, and there's a reason for that. If you're in Group A, you'll go ahead and run out and just run to the water. You'll get the debuff and then run back in. Then Group B, you'll run out, get the debuff, run back in. And then Group C, you'll run out, get the debuff, then go back in. Okay? Then it'll be Group A's turn again. Run out, get the debuff, run back in. And then it'll be Group B's turn again. Run out, get the debuff, come back in. As soon as that debuff goes out on Group B again, he'll go ahead and do the AoE. He'll do a Fel Rage. He'll cast it on one person. That one person will explode, become big, and do big AoE damage to everybody around. So right before that 5th Blood Boil goes out, everybody needs to spread out a little bit. You don't want to spread out massive because you don't want to be the furthest person away, or else you're going to get hit by Blood Boil. Remember, it's the 5 furthest people. So you spread out just within this little radius here, so you don't go ahead and get Blood Boil, so that this group gets it. But at the same time, if, say, somebody in Triangle is here, somebody here, and they get casted Fel Rage, they'll explode and not kill everybody around you. The biggest problem groups are going to have is that every group's going to be stacked here. Fel Rage will go out, and everybody here will take a ton of damage right off the bat, and then they'll die. So it's important that when that 5th Blood Boil is going to go out, you start spreading out a little bit. Other than that, you are stacked. Tight stack. And the reason being is because priests with Circle of Healing and Shaman Chain Healing, you just easy healing for it. So we'll go ahead and I'll just go to our kill, because we did have a couple wipes on this. So go ahead and pull. It's not the best view, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. So there's the tanking spot, melee behind, range is behind them, just go into town. There's a tank swap. So there's the acidic wounds. The acidic wounds do about, when they get to about 10 stacks, you'll get about 3k damage each tick. So if it starts to hurt a lot. So it's important we do this, the tank swaps. So there's Fel Rage. There is. There will be yes, there will be a knockback, so it is important that nobody else tanks pulse threat as well. We go to our kill here. Here we go. So you see the range in the top right. They'll go ahead and just be sitting there, taking the blood boils, going in and out, going in and out. And then there's the Fel Rage target. Fel Rage target, like I said, during this phase, no threat. There is 0 threat issues. He doesn't generate threat or anything during this phase. So threat just basically is paused when Fel Rage gets cast. So just go to town. Just healers, got to make sure that person's healed up. And then he'll turn back around on the next on the target he had before, and then just start hitting him again. This is the one we killed it. It was actually a clean kill. And Contaminate, don't worry about getting a couple of acidic wound stacks. You can get a stack or two to go ahead and make sure you are getting threat. And same thing with you, Grip. Make sure you get a stack or two, just to make sure you keep rage up. Right, healers, you just cast in priests. Let me tell you, circle healing is amazing on that fight. But make sure you bring mana pots, because you'll be potting on cooldown. Because that's the only thing you'll be casting. Done. Relatively clean kill. Next is Reliquary Souls. So this one, we didn't actually kill it on this one, but it is a bit... It's an interesting fight. There's 3... It's probably the longest fight in the instance, minus Illidan. So there's 3 separate phases. The first phase... And we're almost done. I know it can get kind of dry here. First phase, Essence of Suffering, reduces healing taken. You don't heal during this fight. So priests, you're wanding. NRG will go cat form. Shaman, you can hit him with your mace. It doesn't matter. You don't heal at all during this fight. He fixates on the person that's closest to him. So every melee has to be max range, melee range, and the tank is going to be closest to him. Since nobody's taking damage, there will be a tank swap every so often. Jamie, you're going to wind up tanking during the enrage every 45 seconds. We should only get 1 enrage. Just run into the middle of them, pop evasion, and you tank it for, however long. Konzo will do the same thing if Konzo's here. The other thing is, since we have 3 tanks, 1 person can take the enrage, 1 tank can take the enrage, and then swap out for the next tank to go ahead and do it. So that's the first phase. Yes, it does. Yes, priests you will be dispelling, paladins you'll be dispelling as well. The soul drain. So there's the enrage. We didn't have a rogue tank it there. The warrior tanked it, but it does chunk. And again, there's no healing. So then the next tank goes in, gets closest, the other tank backs off. Now the next tank is tanking. After each phase, there's a bit of an intermission. You get mana and health back while killing these mobs. So you'll be full mana, full health for the next phase. It's not a big deal. Next phase, Grip will be tanking because of the abilities that they do. Aura of Desire reflects 50% of damage to active players, regardless. So you'll go ahead and take damage, and you will kill yourself if you go all out. So it's important you do not kill yourself, okay? Spirit Shock has to be interrupted, okay? Curse of Tongues on the boss, Mind Numbing on the boss, interruption, 100% Spirit Shock. Reason being is because if the tank gets disoriented, it goes to the next person and it'll kill the next person. So this 100% has to be kicked. Deaden increases damage taken by the tank 100% for 10 seconds, 1 second cast. Grip, you can reflect this back on the boss. So it can be reflected. The problem is that this then also reacts to Aura of Desire. So if Deaden does happen, you will be taking 150% more damage, casters, and melee, okay? So watch your health if Deaden is active. Yeah. So, and then Rune Shield, very simple. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, you can spell steal it. So that's the second phase. I don't think we killed it on the second phase here. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. I think we wiped on the second phase here. Oh, massively. Oh, massively. Yeah, no, it screws. We wiped on this one. We'll go to the next video after this. Yeah. And then phase 3 is the burn phase, okay? Phase 3, everybody, you basically go until you die, because everybody's going to go ahead and decrease your health. It increases your damage by 5% and does increase in shadow damage to everybody within the rage, okay? So it will start to die. Soul Scream, large amount of mana, rage with 5 players. So Grip, you have to save your mana here as well, okay? Because what will happen is when he does Soul Scream, it'll go ahead and hit you hard. Or sorry, you you use all your rage. Rage and mana. And then Spite, 3 random players, immune to all damage for 2 seconds and deals nature damage. Doesn't really do a big deal. Seethe, each time as switch targets, gains a buff for 10 seconds, increases attack speed by 100%, calls all other attacks to generate 300% threat. Don't want that to happen, so we don't want it to go ahead and switch targets, alright? No pulling aggro. Basically, it's just a burn phase. As soon as we get aggro under control, burn, 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 burn. Very, very simple. After that is Mother, which I have this one here, and I actually have... So this is the trash before Mother. This is actually a funny-ass run. This was with Laddie and all them on from Bakers on EU. They are hilarious. They're a trip to raid with. So these mobs, okay. The mistresses of there's Grief and Desire. Desire actually she'll split to a mirror image and do a whirlwind attack. So if that happens, just run away. She'll also go. This one does. I forget what this one does. Mistress of Woe. It's not that big of a deal. Then there's these smaller ones. These smaller ones suck because what'll happen. Mistresses, the small little succubus girls, they're linked. They have linked health. One of them, I think it's the Mistress of Desire, has a mechanic where she'll cast a immunity bubble on herself. So you burn her down first and then kill the other one. It's a spell reflect or a damage reflect. So you got to burn it before she goes ahead and activates it. Really not that big of a deal. So with this one, we were doing a bit of a different tanking strategy, which I kind of like this position better. But we'll try it a couple different ways. So with this one, we went ahead and did it under the statues at the base of the stairs. Okay? There were actually 3 separate groups. There was under the statue on the left side, under the statue on the right side, and then under a lamppost on the left side. And you'll see me move into the position here. So basically what you want to do, and this is the one everybody's been talking about, this is the shadow resistance. If you do not have your shadow resistance, you will not be coming to the raid on Thursday. Very, 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 very simple. The reason being, at least this first week, we are locked into the roster we have on Thursday. Okay, so this is how you know you're in position where you need to be. So part of the thing is that she does she does a knock-up, an individually targeted knock-up, and you'll get knocked up, and then you won't be able to cast, you won't be able to do anything. It sucks. It's not fun. You'll take fall damage. You could die. It's not fun. So you want to get underneath something. So one of these is a lamppost. One of them is the hands underneath the statue. Okay? So what you do is you just put your camera up, top down, and then once it zooms in like that, you know you're under it. So when you put your camera directly above you and it doesn't zoom out, then you know you're under it. If you get knocked up, you'll hit the light post and then fall back down real quick. The tanks do not need to go ahead and wear shadow damage because they will be taking a shared cleave. So you do not wear shadow resistance, you take a shared cleave. All 3 tanks need to be stacked on top of each other or you will be cleaved to death. So all 3 tanks will be taking that shared cleave, no shadow resistance. They will also not be targeted for the fatal attraction, which is the big thing. Unfortunately, since I'm a healer, it's kind of a scuffed thing, but here is I do get Fatal Attraction. This is the big mechanic. This is why you have Shadow Resistance. One of the reasons you majorly have Shadow Resistance. Every once in a while, she'll go ahead and teleport. And it's important you go ahead and run away. And it's up to every individual to run away in a separate direction. If you see someone running in the same direction as you, turn the hell around. Also, do not run to the raid and do not run to the tanks because it will hit them as well. And it ticks for a lot. It's increasing ticks. Right now it's hitting everybody for 1,000. I'm hitting 2 people for 1,000. And then they're hitting me for 1,000 as well. And I'm dealing damage to myself. It hurts. So you don't do that. You run separate directions. Rocket boots, you can wear rocket boots. You can nifty stopwatch. Do whatever you can. 30 yards, break the chain, survive. You can reset her, so if it is a wipe, you just run out. You run all the way. You just run back to the back of the room and reset. So, do more. So this one we actually kill it. Everybody finally does what they're supposed to do. Everybody wound up putting on more Shadow Res. At this point, everybody just put on a ton of Shadow Res. So we were all at least 200 buffed Shadow Res. Everybody was except the tanks. No, everybody here was at least 200 buffed. At least. I think I actually had more. I didn't wind up getting teleported this one. Maybe, yeah, maybe 200 unbuffed, sorry. Yeah, it's probably around 200 buffed, or unbuffed, sorry. But yeah, so it's just a matter of just killing her, running away for Fatal Attraction, and then you kill, and that's it. That's it. Okay, then this Trash Before Council. This is also important to go over. These mechanical mobs, they do a cast called L4 or something like that that will one-shot people. So priests, very important. Whoever it's targeting, you bubble them. Because they'll get targeted, it'll be cast, they'll get one shot. I think there's not much place to get LOS on this though. That's what sucks. Right, yeah, we died a lot on this trash. And then more AoE trash. And then Council. Council is an easy fight as long as things are done that need to be done, okay? So, the Council has 4 different bosses, 4 different people that you need to go ahead and worry about, okay? So it has Skull is the Paladin. He does a Consecrate. He buffs the other people, other bosses, and they all have a shared health pool, so it doesn't matter if you kill whatever one you kill, it takes away from the same pool. We will focus on killing the Paladin. You focus on killing the Paladin, you kite him out of Consecrate, you just run him around the room, staying out of Consecrate. The Mage, which is Moon, or Square, I think, no, Moon. She does mage stuff, Frostbolt. She does a fire, I forget what it's called. Flame Strike, that's it, yes. She does Flame Strike. She does Arcane Bolts, Arcane Explosion, Blizzard, and Dampen Magic. So the Dampen Magic's the big thing. We'll have one person, one mage, go ahead and tank her. Just like Gruul, or just like Mag, rather. You just tank her off to the side. You spell steal the buff she has, the Dampen Magic she has, which reduces magic by 75% and healing taken by 500. Morgar, yes. So we'll have a mage tank that and a healer assigned to that, and you just tank her off to the side and just hang out. You just basically hold that. You could pump into her, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have special frost resist gear or anything like that. You just steal the buff and you just pump into her. That's it. Your damage still kills the entire encounter, okay? The rogue is the biggest thorn in everybody's side, because the rogue, what he does is goes ahead and he'll vanish, cast a deadly poison on somebody, and then he'll do an envenom. And that will one-shot healers, one-shot cloth wearers. So it's important, if somebody gets the deadly poison on them, priests immediately shield them and throw them a flash heal. Immediately. As soon as you see on your DBM, deadly poison on such and such, shield, flash heal. If it's on you, especially shield, flash heal. Because the deadly poison will tick for about 1k each second for 4 seconds. And then he'll envenom, and that envenom will tick for, I think, about 4 to 6k. So that's him right here. But other than that, he'll be tanked and just be grouped up with the and followed around with the paladin while he's active, and then he'll vanish and disappear for 30 seconds. The priest does a smite, does a wrath, does a reflective shield, and does circle of healing. That's the big one. Her damage dealing abilities, not that big of a deal. Circle of healing sucks because it heals for 100,000 health. It is a 2.5 second cast. It can be kicked. We will have rogue on the priest and an elemental shaman on the priest. Reason being is because the reflective shield, not the reflective shield, Blessing of Protection the paladin can cast it on Lady Melande, which then means the rogue can't kick, but the elemental shaman can. And at the same time, the reflective shield, the elemental shaman can't kick, but the rogue can. So you have to talk back and forth about when to kick, who to kick, okay? So that's going to be probably Jamie and Gaia. You guys will have to work with it and see, okay, this shield's up, I kick. That shield's up, you kick, so on and so forth. This is priority to stop. The reason being is because that can completely elongate the fight and make it completely frustrating, suck everybody's mana and resources, and actually wipe. On our kill here, we actually wound up killing it 3 times over because the rogue in the group couldn't kick. The fight went on literally forever. And we killed it 2.5 times because that much healing went off. So this is the, let me go over the Raider IO. So, this one, Paladin will be tanked here. The rogue will be with it. Mage over here. Priest here. Priest basically just stay up here. Doesn't do anything. So the paladin, though, cast a consecrate. You move it this way. The rogue will vanish and fuck off somewhere. Cast a consecrate or flame strike. You move this way. Consecrate, flame strike, or blizzard. Move this way. You just basically move it like this, Grip. You're going to be the one tanking it. You just move it in a big circle or a big square. Okay? As soon as you cast Consecrate, you move. Consecrate, you move. Consecrate, you move. Oh, Flame Strike, you move. Blizzard, you move. Just keep moving it. Just stay out of stuff. That's the name of the game. Healers, you just go ahead and spread throughout the entirety of the room. Everybody spread throughout the entirety of the room. Use the entire room. Okay? You can use the whole room. It's a big room. Alright? Don't just stay in one spot. Don't just stack up, because if you stack up, you get hit by a Flame Strike, Blizzard, and Flame Strike, and you'll die. So make sure everybody, you're spread out. All the casters, spread out. Melee, you're just going to be chilling with Skull. I'll be tanking the Rogue, and just drag the Rogue over here. Contaminate, you're going to be on the Priest, tanking the Priest with them. And then when the Rogue is active, I'll just follow Grip, wherever Grip's going, so we can cleave it as much as we can, and then the Rogue will fuck off, and then I'll go ahead and start doing damage to that, and then pick up the Rogue as quickly as I can once the Envenom comes out. Okay? But that's what happens with this fight. Just go ahead and take it. You see the Consecrate come out, and then move them. There's the Blizzard, you move them. Flame Strike, you move. Consecrate, you move. And you just move it in a big square like that, group. That's it. It's not a DPS race at all. It's a sustainability fight. You will be potting. You will be runing if you have runes. You will be doing everything you possibly can to be able to keep your mana up. Everything you possibly can to keep your health up. You will be potting on cooldown. Make sure you bring plenty of mana pots. Everybody. So it's just a long fight, especially if you don't stop that circle of healing. A long fight. And then you kill Council, and then you move on to Illidan. So, Illidan, you are not prepared. Okay, so there's 3 separate phases, or 4 phases actually, okay? So, Illidan will be set up this way, alright? Where am I at here? Okay, so the entrance is... This is the entrance. That's to the stairs down low, okay? So that's just to mark the entrance. Illidan starts right here, and he'll be tanked there. The rest of the raid will be stacked up right here on circle, alright? The first phase is just basically a tank and spank. He'll go ahead and do like a jumping slash, and when he does that, he'll leave a little circle of fire on the ground, and Grip will just move it over here. Grip will be tanking this. Contaminate, you and I will be in our fire res off tanking in phase 2. So, we go ahead and do that. He does his jump thing, scoot over, done. Jump thing, scoot over, done. Jump thing, scoot over, done. Meanwhile, everybody else just kind of sitting here free casting. Every once in a while, you'll get what's called Parasitic Shadow Fiends, okay? Somebody will get it in the raid, and after however many seconds, 10 seconds, it'll spawn 2 Parasitic Shadow Fiends. If the Parasitic Shadow, it applies a new Parasitic Shadow Fiend debuff, so it can chain and completely overwhelm your raid, okay? So it's important you go ahead, and when you get the Parasitic Shadow Flame, Hunters, you'll have a Frost Trap in the center of this grate right here. If you get it, you run to the center of this area, wait until your Shadow Fiends spawn, and then run back to the group or the melee, whichever one you are, okay? Everybody will kill the Shadow Fiends. They don't have a lot of health. They don't do a lot of damage. They'll go ahead and you just take them and you kill them, okay? Very, very quick, very, very simple. Just make sure. Yeah, it's a 3k health. You just turn around, you kill it real quick, and then you go back to where you're at. Simple. Very, very simple. Alright? Not that hard. That's phase 1. Phase 2, Illidan flies up in the air and he fucks off. He goes, wee! And he just chills in the air. Phase 2 will spawn 2 fire elementals. Okay? These fire elementals spawn here on top of Warglaives, the Warglaives that he throws down. Okay? These fire elementals fuck. What we'll do is we'll have 3 separate groups. We'll have one group here, and we'll have another group here. Okay? And then the melee group will be on one of the elementals. Alright? Probably my target first, actually. Okay? So it'll be on one of the elementals. I will be taking the elemental, and Contaminate, you'll be doing the same. You'll take it to here. You can't go more than 25 yards, I think it is, away from the Warglaive. Okay? The Warglaives are what screw you. If you get out of the zone of the Warglaives, if anybody's too far away, they'll enrage and wipe the raid. Okay? So they. Okay. Uh, no. Two's better. You have 3 total, 2 uh, because melee and then 2 ranged. So if you go 25 further, if any player is further than 25 yards away from both flames, they become enraged and does a lot more damage. So you have to stay within that circle. Now, at the same time, it can be moved, okay? So if I'm tanking my guy and I tank him here, and square, you move to here, and triangle, you move to here, okay? You just move. Meanwhile, he'll go ahead. Hmm? Okay. Um, what'll happen is Illidan will also go ahead and here's glaive. Nice. That's glaive 1 and this is glaive 2. Illidan will also go ahead and throw down a blue beam, which will cut across. No, wrong thing here. Like this, contaminated. Okay. It'll go ahead and cut across that, and then another one will be cut across like this. Okay. Or another one will be cut across like this. So it's important, contaminant, that when you go ahead and tank it, you just stay out of the blue beam. Do not let the blue beam hit you initially. You can walk through it if you absolutely have to, but the initial hit will kill you. Very important that you do not walk into the blue beam when it's being cast, okay? And melee, if you get cut off from one of the fire elementals, move to the next one and start killing the other one. But we will be focusing on one first and then killing the second one. You don't have to kill them at the same time. I actually have a really good POV contaminant that I will play right now that'll show this whole phases. So let me just get that. I thought I had that queued up. I guess I did not. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Giggity. Okay. Hey, Grip's in here. Look at that. So this is phase 1. Everybody stacked, and then you jump where I'm jumping there on the grate. That's the drop-off spot for the Parasitic Fiends. Tanking's right there, just right in front there. Very, very simple, just like I said in the IO plan. Okay, so that's the jump slash. You'll see the jump slash, and then he'll drop some crap on the ground. That's the shear. Okay, so that's the shear. That's the crap on the ground. Done. You just move him over to the side. You just keep tanking him, keep killing him. Very simple. Meanwhile, Frost Trap in the middle of the grate there. Shadow Fiends, drop them. Kill the Shadow Fiends. Continue on Illidan. Goes to about 70%, 68%, and then he goes into phase 2. So this is the phase 2. He'll go ahead and throw the Warglaives down. That's where they spawn at. So Contaminant, you do the same thing I'm doing here, just on the opposite side. Do not stand in front of the fire guys. They do a flame breath, and you do not point them at the raid. They'll go ahead and drop. Somebody pulled aggro. Of course. Do not pull aggro on this. You will die. I have a really good one where we cleared phase 2. I think it was the last one we did. Yeah, this is the one where we almost killed it, and then it got scuffed because the dude pulled it away. Okay, so phase 2 coming out. Contaminate, just make sure you're ready for phase 2. Don't stay in there in DPS. Just get over there, because all you're doing is going to tank anyway. Take it, point it away. It'll drop a flame fire underneath you, Contaminate. That's actually hard to see whether you're in it or not, but you'll get a DMPM notice, and you'll get the feel of where to tank it and where you can. And then you just go ahead and just let it drop a flame patch, and then kite it to the next one. Let it drop a flame patch, and then move over to the next one. Make sense? Does that make sense, Contaminant? Okay. Meanwhile, the groups are moving as well with the tanks in a circular formation, okay? See, the blue beam cut off the melee. So there will be 3 total groups, a melee group, a caster group, and another caster group. There's no melee group in there right now because the blue flame. If you get cut off, don't go in there, you'll die. Meanwhile, all the same time, Illidan's casting crap from above. He's doing a bunch of AoE damage to everybody within a certain amount of yards. Healers go ahead and just keep everybody healed up, topped off. Simple as that. And then you kill both of them. You kill one, then you kill the other one. Most important things, do not stack up everybody on top of each other. You stay in your groups, and you go ahead and just kill them as quickly as you possibly can. Phase 3 starts. This is Phase 3. With Phase 3, you do not have anybody... This is where people screwed up, and the tank screwed up. He's supposed to face him away from the rest of the raid group. The reason being is because he has an ability that will heal him. That's actually the next phase. So the demon within. So this phase, this is when we lust. So you're able to go ahead and completely change it, but every 45 seconds, he'll transform into a giant demon. That's when Poke will go ahead and take aggro. He'll go ahead and tank with Shadow Res, full Shadow Res. Everybody else will spread out completely, okay? Everybody. The reason being is because he'll go ahead and he'll cast Shadow Demons, which are those floating brain eye-looking things, and they'll slowly go ahead and creep towards somebody. If they get to you, it'll kill that person. Instant death. It will also immobilize you. You won't be able to cast, you won't be able to move, you won't be able to do anything. So as soon as those things spawn, it's important everybody turns around and kills them. Melee, you get screwed. You can't do anything while he's in demon form. You'll increase your shadow damage taken by 30% and you'll die. Okay? Reason being is because Shadow Blast. Highest threat and all players within 20 yards. So melee, during the demon phase, you're killing all the shadow demons. Very, 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 very important. Okay? Again, spread out because of Flame Burst. Does fire damage to all players and additional fire damage to any player standing closer than 5 yards to each other. Do not be next to each other. Yes. Yes. He does the same stuff as he does in Phase 1, and then he changes into a demon when everybody will run back or run away, okay? And then until about 30%, that's when the next phase happens. The next phase happens when he reaches 30%, the entire raid gets mobilized, Maeve comes out, everything, and that's when the end of the fight happens. He'll still use his standard Phase 1 abilities. He still uses demon within 60 seconds, or every 60 seconds, but he should die by then. He enrages, but the biggest thing is that Maeve will go ahead and do a shadow trap. You'll kite him over to the shadow trap. He will go down, and he'll get ensnared, and then it increases his damage taken by 100%. By then, he should die. After that, dead. And that is Black Temple. Are there any questions or anything? Please let me know. I will go ahead. Does anybody have any questions or anything with regards to anything I've asked? Anything that's it?
I just have a
yes.
Cash, like once we get to like farm status, how long does each instance take approximately?
Hyjal will take probably about an hour and a half. I mean, Hyjal's easy to go ahead and gauge because it's gated by waves. With the one that I was in with that raid that I did earlier with one wipe, we were in there for like an hour and a half, I think it was. Hour and 45 minutes total. Because once it moves along, it moves along. You can't time the waves or anything like that. As long as you don't wipe, it'll take about an hour and a half. With regards to Black Temple will take considerably more, depending on how quickly it goes. So it will be considerably more. My guess is once we get it on farm status, it'll probably take 2 hours. Hour and 45 minutes, honestly. There's a lot of trash you can skip in Black Temple. They will. Yeah, they will eventually be one day together. Realistically, at least for the time being, we'll probably do Hyjal and then clean up on the tier 5 stuff. From Kale, Vash, any other bosses we want to kill in one night, and then the other night clear Black Temple. I'd like to get him down to a single night as quickly as we can, though. Should be easy enough. Here, I'm going to go ahead and... sorry to cut you off. I'm going to stop the stream here. Let's go ahead and check out his guides and stuff. That's everything that I have, that I had prepared or anything like that. So I'm going to stop my stream at least because... and stop talking for a minute because my voice is going out now. But if you can do me a favor, I'm trying to reach 100 followers, so follow. And let's get some happy birthday Jamies in the chat. Let's get some happy birthday Jamies in the chat. Board games, what? Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do War Games. Let's go ahead and take a quick break right here, then we'll do War Games. If you have any other questions,